Time to talk about some PlayStation, folks. Why not Xbox, guys? Because
Shut up.
none of us can afford one. I mean, we can get one, actually.
I already have cable.
Yeah. I already have cable and I've seen Gladiator, so I don't need to play Rise. Yes. You got me, Brandon, of course, with Nick. Both of us who have played, I've played way more, of course, of the PlayStation 4. And we're going to do a little review of it. Talk about every little aspect we can think of and giving it a yay or nay on it. I understand, Nick, you only played one day of it, so,
Yeah, an hour.
Yeah, an hour and a half, maybe. But you did get the majority of it, though. I mean, you did get to see how the current games kind of look right now. You saw the two exclusives. You got to mess with the touchpad. You didn't get to see the recording things, and you didn't get to see actually, I think you got to see some stuff. We'll get into it. But yes, we probably won't do one for the Xbox One because it's gonna be a long time before any of us even think about getting one. Nothing against the Microsoft folks. It just,
If only we knew someone who had one.
we do, but, well, what could I tell Nick? Goddamn, too many Nicks. What could I tell other friend Nick? Saying, hey dude, can I spend 2 hours over your house so I can explore every aspect of your, Xbox One right now? But anyways, let's get on with PlayStation 4. Alright, so, just on the look of it, I have to say I dig it. I mean, did you get a good look at it when you were over here?
Sure, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Don't lie to me. It really has kind of I like the look just because, I don't know, it looks better than my PlayStation 3 for some reason. Probably because it doesn't load from the fucking top. That's usually a plus with me and it doesn't have any disk thing. I do have to say though, with the front, you didn't get to experience this there, Nick, but the buttons aren't really buttons. They're like a touchpad thing. So you have to you push your thumb where the power would be and you have to kind of really fuck with it just to get it to turn off. Or you can be like everyone else and just use a goddamn controller, and same thing with, ejecting a disc. It's a little bit of a bitch because they don't actually have a button there. It's just kind of this touchpad shit.
Well, the PS3 didn't even have a button.
Well, my PS3 does.
Oh, well, your PS3's lame, so.
I got the, fuck it PS3. Yeah, mine actually does have a button. But yeah, I do, well, even, I don't know, does your PS3 just have a little...
Yeah, it's just a touchpad.
Huh, cause even
for the power and eject.
Huh, cause even my dad's PS3 has a button to inject, so it's kind of weird.
Your dad's PS3 doesn't play PS2 games.
I know, you have, okay, your original, Nick has one of the first PS3s, people, so yeah, my household has two different ones, so, yeah, and none of them have any touchpad fancy bullshit going on there. But yeah, I have to say though, how is the touchpad on the PS3? Is it work? You push your thumb right there and it opens.
Yeah, well, I use my index finger because that's a lot less awkward. But yeah, you just boop and it goes bing.
Yeah, I have to say, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't really feel like the buttons on the console itself, the two of them that there are that really that responsive. Sometimes you're like, come on, let's eject my fucking disc. But
yeah, mine. I push where the little eject arrow symbol is, and then I leave. Yeah. Well, I don't leave, but it spits the disc out.
But then again, like I said before, you can just use a goddamn controller, which makes life so much easier.
That's really all I do on my Xbox.
I know, me too. I kind of wish I want the next console generation there, Nick, to have something where it puts the disc away. So that way I don't even have to get my fat ass up ever. I could just, select this game. And I guess my future is just digital.
That's just digital downloads.
Yeah, no, I don't want that. Actually, I like having my physical copies. But anyways, let's move on from the back part, just has the HDMI only. So, folks that don't have an HD TV, guess what? I would not recommend buying either one of the consoles, to be honest with you. Because neither one of them has a composite. And Nick, I know what you're thinking right now. Who the hell doesn't have an HD TV? There are those people.
I know there are those people. We work with some of those people.
Yes. So, yeah, I know those people, a lot of those people actually. So, yeah, there are those people out there who don't have HD TVs. So, do not buy this console because you will be just like, well, I get a look at it. I would take that money you would have for the console, buy the TV, wait till you save up some more, and then, then buy the console. By then, you'll have way more games that are currently out. Let's move on. Continuing with the hardware itself with the controller. What'd you think of the controller?
It felt a lot better than the Xbox One controller, I'll tell you that much.
How so? Like, comparison to the Xbox One, because you have played both, so.
It was more... It was nicer to push the buttons. Okay. The Xbox One controller is... It's honestly, it's like the freaking Xbox original controller.
Oh, really? Because that was a weird creature, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it was like that mixed... Imagine the Xbox controller bigger with the Xbox 360 controller.
Huh, so it's like a half-breed of both of them.
Yeah, it's bigger with the center button moved up out of reach, so you have to stretch to push it. And the bumpers you can only push from the very edges instead of just nicely laying your finger on.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's something I have to say that this one does too because, alright, oh god damn. Alright, what the hell were you talking about?
The controllers.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, the one thing I think both controllers kind of, from what you're telling me and from what I know with the PS4 controller, is both of them got rid of that whole middle button that we're used to. You know how the start and select were both like kind of really close. So your thumb automatically, like with like the PlayStation 4 is that touchpad right where that used to be.
Yeah.
And instinctively I have to, it didn't take me long to figure out where the new button is, but it was still just kind of one of those weird things where you're just like, you're not used to having this big old middle area that you're actually specific to the game now, not just, I need to pause it and I need to go to my select thing. With the PlayStation 4 controller too, they got rid of start and select. I don't know what happened, because both of them got rid of that. I don't know why.
Well, the Xbox, it got rid of them, but they're still there technically.
Yeah, I know Xbox has weird symbols now. They don't even have a name for them.
They do the same thing.
Oh, I know they do the same thing. PS4 though, has options, which, makes a lot of sense. I guess if you need to dumb it down for people so that way they're not confused. Options, it's start, it does the exact same thing, pauses your game, does all that. But then it has share. It actually just has the share button on the controller. So, I know how, so basically if you're like, I wanna, go on, share my stuff on Twitch, or I just wanna do a video, you just press share. One problem I have with this there, Nick. You just press share and it'll start recording, but it just randomly fucking stops recording.
So, at least, it's better than the Xbox One where you don't get to choose when it records. It just records.
Really?
Randomly. Wait. Like 15-minute segments.
Well, this one does 15-minute segments, but you at least get to choose. It doesn't. So are you kidding me? The Xbox One just randomly records your progress?
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, that's awesome. He's just randomly why do I have all these videos on here? You actually have to press it, but my problem is though, you don't get a select, say, if you want to do, because the PS4 randomly selects how long it's going to be. Sometimes it's 13 minutes, sometimes it's 14, sometimes it's 15, the max. And it doesn't tell you don't know when it's going to stop, you don't know what you're recording, you press it, and then it starts doing it. Even if I was just experimenting with the button, I press it, I'm like, okay, want to upload to Twitch or Ustream? No, I don't want to do either. Press back, and all of a sudden I notice, I have a video saved, and I just watch it, and just me playing the video game. But I do have to say though, when you're recording on Twitch, it's quite nice, because I've done one video on Twitch, and, you actually get to see not who's viewing it, but you get to see how many people are viewing it, and then if they put comments on it, you get to see those pop up. So you could be like, and then your voice is the only thing I can say about the voice, it doesn't indicate whether my voice is going or not, so I actually had to have Twitch on just to make sure, me talking was actually going through. But yeah, I never tried to use Stream, so I can't tell you how that is, but yeah. With the live stream, it's fine, but you can upload it to Facebook and stuff to bug your friends with, your videos if you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I never tried to do that, so, because I'm not that kind of person to be like, hey guys, here's my video that I made of me playing Knack. Enjoy. So yeah, we got that going on. I also have to say though, the speaker in the controller. What do you think of that?
Well, again, I grew up with a Wii, so I'm used to that.
You're used to that. Okay, one thing I'd have to say, when you played Knack, and Knack has the speaker through it, and that, I understand, a lot like the Wii, just makes noises. It's just bling, bling. I was playing Killzone. I found an audio log. It started playing through my goddamn controller. It was a little weird. I was just sitting there, I picked that up, and all of a sudden, my controller's just speaking to me. I'm like, and you know what? It made it way more ominous playing it through my controller, because they had one of the audio logs where it was like some dude being burned alive, and I'm like, this is kind of creepy. Because it's like, it's not where my ears think it should be coming from. It's not coming from the TV. It's coming through my hands. So, honestly, I like what they're doing with that controller with that. But, now time for the big addition to the controller there, Nick. The touchscreen. Yeah. Little touchpad, I should say. Yeah, touchpad. Alright, how'd you think it felt in Killzone? Because that's the only one with the touchpad.
It was very responsive.
I agree. It's actually... Okay, so, apparently I found out how I play video games, Nick. My thumbs... I guess I don't use the tip of my thumbs when I'm playing video games. I kind of use the base, which I have a little bit of extra thumb hanging over.
Weirdo.
I found it out the fun way when I'm playing Killzone, and all of a sudden, I keep switching the drone, because that's what it controls, is what your drone's going to do, and I keep switching the drone from doing shit. I'm like, no, I need you to be on this, because apparently my left thumb hangs up a little bit, so it keeps it's really responsive, folks. Like, you barely have to touch the damn thing, and it's good.
Sounds like it's a problem for you.
No, it is my own personal problem. I'm not knocking on the PS4 because my thumbs hang over. It's just something I had to train my thumbs to do, actually have my thumbs in those little indents, which also, goddamn, we're gonna have to talk a lot about the controller. How many first-person shooters have you played on the PS3?
0.
0. Okay.
Nope. 0.
Okay, alright, let me ask you. Did you think the right analog stick was a little bit loose on the PS3? Let's put it that way. Where the sensitivity was kind of high?
No.
Okay. Whatever. Alright, this is me, I guess, because when I was playing like Killzone and all those other first person shooters on the PS3, I felt
No, I did play one on the PS3. Oh, I did play the first Killzone.
Alright, did you find aiming a little bit harder on that? But yeah, I don't know.
Actually, I had to turn the sensitivity down a little bit.
That's okay, so you were in my boat, because I remember this really with Killzone 2. The sensitivity on the PS3 controller is really hard. You're just like, you just kind of touch it and all of a sudden your guy's like spinning.
This is coming, for reference, we're two people who don't play Call of Duty on the highest sensitivity.
No, we play like normal human beings with normal sensitivity. I like having my guy moving at, maybe, at normal, wavelengths. I don't need to just touch the right stick and my guy
breathes and he spins around in circles.
I know, honestly. I don't need that. So I'm not that good. I have to say they toned down the sensitivity because playing Killzone Shadowfall, it was, I was able to aim right and have any problems with that. Also, they put the little indents in the controller, which I know you probably felt. And
yeah, just like the Xbox 360.
Yeah, unlike, the PS3, where it had
or any PlayStation before.
Yeah, any PlayStation where they were just smooth on top and your thumbs, it wasn't hard to keep your thumbs in place, but it's just a little addition that's nice. Though I do know probably in 3 years time when my, those little thumb pads are going to be so worn out with me that they're just going to be, just going to be back to the way it was. It has now a mic area, so they actually have wired mics now with the PlayStation 4. Unlike the PS3, which was all Bluetooth. You can still use Bluetooth. It's still compatible with any Bluetooth. But now you could just plug in a wired mic as well. So
that's stupid.
Well, it's for cheap asses or whatever. I really don't care for the wired mic on the PS4. I don't really feel like it works.
That's how I feel with the wired mic on the 360. It's a piece of shit.
True, it is. That's exactly what it is. It's just some.
It doesn't help when you're a fat ass and it gets caught in your belly folds and you move around and it unplugs.
I don't think I've ever had that problem.
That's because when you use the original mic for the 360, you weren't as fat as you are now, Tubby.
Oh, thanks. You don't gotta ever text me like that. Yeah, Tubby. Want some more? Actually, never mind. I'll talk about that later. I ate something really good. One last thing I could say though, with the controller, no, even if your console's off, your controller still charges, if it's plugged in, of course. And that is so nice that your controller just can charge without having to leave your console on or anything. One flaw though, the goddamn thing doesn't hardly hold a charge. Like you'll be playing for like 3 or 4 hours and it's already down a bar. And you know, like the PS3 controller, that thing lasts fucking forever. You know,
And it also charged incredibly quick.
Yeah. Well, no, the PS4 controller will charge incredibly quick too. It's incredibly quick charge, but it just doesn't hold. So it's kind of like, you know, I mean, I only had it one time say, hey dude, it was when I was playing through NAC, and I was playing for like 6 hours just through NAC, and eventually got to the point where it's like, hey, by the way, you need to plug in your controller. But when I got there, I'm like, well, I guess this is a good time to, you know, get to a save point.
At least it tells you that, not like the Xbox. Oh, your controller died.
Oh yeah, no, Sony's been pretty good at that. They'll give you a little warning at the corner of your screen saying, hey, you need to plug this in because it's gonna die. And you're like, oh, alright, cool. And that's also another plus, because I know the Xbox One controller still uses a battery pack. This one, you know, it's wireless, it's nice. It's, you know, that lithium battery shit. Oh, again, yeah, we're spending a lot of time with the controller, but that's like really where they really put all the enhancements in. It has a weird light. I don't understand what it's for, but, you know...
Blue to green to red. Well, I know the green and red for Killzone.
Yeah, you know, Killzone's the only one I've seen it change. Like, NACA was blue the entire time I was playing it. Killzone, it was green when your character was fine. It was kind of a weird addition, because when you got injured, not even down, just when your screen was turning all red and bloody, your controllers would just change its light to red. Which, I don't know who's looking at their controller, like, how am I doing? Oh, I'm not doing too well. I really do wonder though how long this light's gonna last. Cause, you know,
it's probably an LED, so it probably won't go out.
Yeah, I picture it won't go out, but it's just kind of, cause it's a big ass light, so if you play your games in the dark, then you're gonna have like you're gonna be illuminating yourself. You're just wah, wah, wah.
You play a first person shooter, you're gonna have your own Christmas rave.
I know, honestly.
Green to red, green to red, green to red.
Honestly. Yeah, dude, you're playing Call of Duty. I'm yet to put in Ghost to actually play the online to see if it changes from green to red every time I die. If so, good God, I'm gonna be going through a rave if you play like us. Just like, dead. I am trying to get, I do have to say it's whiter than any other controller. It's whiter than the 360 and the PS3 controller. Which makes...
But it still feels comfortable.
Oh, it's still comfortable. It's not as awkward as you're telling me the Xbox One is.
The Xbox, it's not super awkward, but it's not great.
And they actually added triggers, which, I mean, as you and I made myself get used to the triggers with Killzone. Because I'm like, you know, I know every game's going to be using the triggers now, because the PS3 used to have the bumpers.
See, the sad thing is, I think it's probably just holding the control. I barely even played PS3 games. I still had to use the bumpers to shoot.
Yeah, it was just weird, because like with the PS3, I used the, you know, R1 and L1 and R1 to do it because it just feels right. This one, they actually have more of a groove in the controllers, and it's, you know, it's more of a trigger now, and it actually has some resistance to it. And, you know, Killzone Shadowfall kind of said, no, we want you to use these. You could go back to Classic if you want, but I kind of forced myself. It didn't take me long to get used to doing it like that. But
see, I don't know about you, but me, whenever I change the controls to something more standard, like that, you know, because that's what's comfortable, I still have the mentality in my head like, oh, gotta use the new controls, and I still get mixed up.
Yeah, I know. Actually, I
so
think
basically for me, no matter what way I choose, I'm gonna get mixed up one way or the other.
That's exactly what happened to me when I was going with the classic way. I kept getting confused, and then I ended up fucking up. I also have to say though, I'm not used to using that touchpad because I'm trying to select shit for my drone, and I'll use the D-pad, and I end up using like one of my health packs or something. I'm like, God damn it! And I did that so many times during Killzone. It started pissing me off. Alright, so that's about all I don't know anything else we could talk about with the controller. But I do have to say, okay, so all of them, I know the Xbox One's doing this too, but you know, you still have the middle Sony button. You press that, it will seamlessly go back to the home, to, you know, your normal homepage thing.
Yeah.
And that is so nice. And if you press it again, you go right back to your game. And so, you know, if you want to check up on something,
that's actually something they took from Nintendo, but we're not going into that.
No one's talking about Nintendo. But yeah, it goes back to there, and then you can fuck with your settings. And that was one thing I always hated when I was, you know, with both Xbox 360 and PS3, if you want to change like a specific setting or delete something off there and you don't want to quit your game, well, you're gonna have to quit your
Tough
game.
titties.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. This system just like, no, you want to go fuck with your settings? You want to go buy something off the PlayStation store? Go for it, dude. I don't care. I don't give a shit. I don't give a damn.
The one thing that I hope they change,
What?
and I think the PS3 already had it, but the downloading stuff in the background while you're playing games and not having it stop every 3 seconds.
It does that. PS3 already does that. I understand 360 does not. PS3 will do that, and actually, if you're because you have to be a Plus now subscriber if you have PS4 to play online. Well, if you're a PlayStation Plus subscriber, you can do automatic updates. And with automatic updates, it will automatically download. So if you have games downloading, it's just like, oh, if you had a big game downloading, something like a full-fledged game, not an arcade game, it will actually just, it'll download the whole thing at like 2 o'clock in the morning or whenever. You can pick Pacific times. So that's also nice. And what it also does, because it was one flaw I was thinking at first, and it's still sort of a flaw. The PS4 has to install every game that you play. That's
only a flaw for you.
It's sort of a flaw. I mean, it depends how many games you play. If you're the Call of Duty bro, you're not even going to notice. But if you're like me, and you're playing a lot of games for your PS4, you're going to have to start, picking and choosing. Like, all the ones I rent, they're getting deleted. The ones I keep, well, then they're going to stay on there because that's a hassle. But when you're installing the game, you don't have to sit in the install screen. You can go fuck around and let it install, and it installs pretty damn quick. It doesn't take very long to install it. It's not like, you're thinking like, oh fuck, that's going to be like 3 hours of it installing. No. It's like, maybe a minute. It's really not that long. So, and you could go fuck around, do other stuff. It's hardly even noticeable. So it's kind of this double-edged sword there. I don't know if the Xbox One has a hard drive. Do you have any idea?
It's internal.
It has an internal hard drive?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Even the new age 360s don't have external hard drives.
Well, no, I meant I didn't know if they were going with cloud or something. If they're just sticking with all cloud-based.
Oh no. No, I believe it has a hard drive. It has to because Nick downloaded stuff.
Okay. Well, yeah. I know the PS4 starting. I mean, they might create bigger hard drives for it, but right now you could get like the average PS4, which I'm picturing, is a 500 gig hard drive, which is that's a pretty damn big hard drive. But if you play a lot of games, it's going to start filling up pretty damn quick when every game's like 30 or 40 gigs each. So, it's going to start adding up. So, you can't be really, honestly, this new console generation kind of is turning into this whole thing where you can't really you could be a game collector, you just got to go through that minute installation every time you want to play. Unless you want to,
Which it hurts Brandon deeply.
It kind of does a little bit because I'm so used to like games like from the last generation where they only take maybe like 200 megabytes. Like that's the max they can take.
Unless you download
unless you would download it from, then it's only a couple gigs or whatever,
It's 8.
Well, it depends what.
Or it's 5 to 8.
Well, that's also something I gotta say. The new games on the PS4, they're way bigger than the PS3 and stuff. Because PS3 is like, oh, it's 8. Maybe I've actually seen a couple, like Deus Ex was like a 12 gig game. But yeah. Killzone Shadowfall. 34. Something like that. 34 gigs just for that game alone. So I was like, but it takes like half the time to do it. So I think that's kind of funny as well. The games, the systems, it's kind of weird. I would not recommend people, it doesn't hurt it to my knowledge. But I don't like the sound of it. You leave the disc if you leave the disc in your console and you want to play that, you turn on your console again, you're gonna hear it running. You're gonna hear that like it's reading the disc the whole time. I don't like that sound. I don't think it's fucking it up. I just don't like the sound. You take it out.
You know what? You're probably only hearing that sound now because it's so quiet you can actually hear it turning the disc drive on.
It is a quiet ass console, but same with the PS3. PS3 is a pretty quiet console too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that all it's doing is just warming up the laser.
Oh yeah, no. When you first start a game on the PlayStation 4, Nick, you'll hear it go. You'll hear it for the first couple like minutes. You'll hear it reading the disc, but after it reads the disc, it stops spinning altogether. It knows, the system will know what's going on, so that way it doesn't have any problems. The only
I doubt it stops spinning.
Well,
It kind of needs to spin to read the disc.
I don't know. It does
I don't
install
think you
the
know how
goddamn
disk
game.
drives work.
It does install the damn game, so maybe it only has to read it a couple times. I don't know what the fuck's going on. It does also have a standby mode, which, in case you, say if you only need to turn it off for a few minutes or something, it doesn't actually turn it off. It kind of just powers it down. Kind of like, like a computer, where you can put it in sleep mode. That's essentially what it is.
I don't think you needed to go into description of what hibernating is.
I know.
I think anyone with half a brain knows what you're saying.
I hope so. I would hope so, Nick. I really would, but yes, it does have a new standby mode, which I like. Like right now, my PS4 is in standby mode because we're recording, and unlike some of you people, I don't play video games when I record because I need to be on topic.
Huh? What?
Forza.
Hey, I am completely focused today because I'm playing a game with story that I already know.
Yes, so they got that. The only thing I could say that's kind of a little flaw with me, it's not really a flaw, it's just something they chose not to do. It doesn't play PS3 games, which that just means I had to keep my PS3. So I'm just kind of like...
They did that so that they could save money for all the other cool features.
It's not a big deal. Like I said, I'm not knocking against it. It was just...
But it still plays PS1 games!
I know, it still plays... Yes, it still plays PlayStation games! Yay! I do have a question for you though, Nick.
Okay.
How long do you think before we start, maybe, how many years before we start getting, the HDD pack of, Uncharted series or God of War again, before they just start re-releasing PS3 games on the PS4?
I'd give it 5.
Alright, yeah, that's actually even a better question. How long do you think this console cycle is gonna last?
Well, I don't really see how much higher they can go without creating a new disc format. So I'm gonna give it a good. Let's see, this last generation, I'd say 10 years.
Okay, yeah, because this one lasted, I think, at least 7. This last generation. It already looks pretty damn good. I put in Call of Duty Ghosts just 2 seconds ago before we started.
So. I'm pretty sure that they've stretched Blu-ray to its absolute limits.
We would think that.
The only thing left to do is just 3D games or the Oculus Rift.
Yes, but all right, Nick, you and I think that they stretch it to the maximum, but I still have that hope that from what we saw from last generation, where it starts out everything, it looks way better than what we had. You're like, oh, this looks better. And then it just keeps getting better and better. They have better hardware now, so maybe they can stretch it even further. It really depends. I don't know how much they can actually put on a Blu-ray. I don't know how much they've stretched the Blu-ray.
I feel like 34 gigabytes of data is pretty high up there on storage.
And the games don't look significantly better. You're not going to kick yourself. You're not going to be like, it doesn't knock you off your seat. You're not sitting there when you saw Knack and Killzone, you weren't blown away. You're like, okay, it looks good. It just, it's not that.
Yeah, it wasn't the rediscovering HD for the first time I've heard about.
No, it wasn't that. And I agree with you. Both games look good. So, what I say with this new generation, I shouldn't have any games that look like the Star Trek game. No game should look shitty now. They should all look good or amazing. And I do have to actually Killzone had some weird issues with it. And I noticed, Injustice actually had some frame rate issues with some of the cutscenes they had. I was just like, wait. And that's not the PS4's fault. That's actually the game developers fucking up on the game. That's the developer's fault, but
yeah, okay.
Well, you know why I blame the developer there, Nick? Because no other game was doing that.
I bet if you put it in again and played it, it wouldn't freak up at the same spot.
Well, I don't have it anymore, so I can't even test that theory. I don't know, it was freaking out in the beginning. That's about it. Anyways,
it could have just been the disc.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really check the disc.
There was probably a hair right there that it just kind of freaked out.
I know. The tiniest little smudge. I'm trying to think what else we might have missed.
So far, so good. It's been, a week for you and you still haven't gotten the blue line of death?
No, well, I don't think I'm going to get it. From my knowledge, with the blue light of death, it was pretty immediate. So yeah, I was having that, and then Sony was saying it was shipping issues, that they were getting damaged during the shipping. Other people were saying it was someone manufacturing them all shitty. That would be Sony. So it really depends. It really depends who you listen to. There's so many different theories on it. I'm just glad.
Of course, Sony's not going to blame themselves.
Well,
they are bad.
Yeah, no. Name one corporation ever said, "Yeah, we fucked up."
Get back to me. I can do better.
It still plays Blu-rays like everyone would expect. So if you want a Blu-ray player, it still does that.
Of course, it plays Blu-rays.
It still plays DVDs as well, sir.
That's better.
Yeah.
And yet it can't play PS3 or PS2 games.
I don't understand why I can't play PS3 games, because that's a Blu-ray. I don't understand that. I don't get what's the difference, honestly. Call me an idiot, folks, because I figured a Blu-ray disc is a Blu-ray disc. No different.
Well, kind of like, the Xbox, there was a lot of Xbox original games that 360 can't play.
I know, on it. The only one I'd understand was the PS3 with the... Actually, not really even, because PS3 plays DVDs, yet it can't... I don't know, folks.
But it can play CDs on from the PS1.
Yeah, I know. I don't understand what kind of hardware they have where they're like, yes, it can play PS1 games, but it can't play... PS4 can't play any of them. It's just like, no, you play PS4 games. I think that's about all I could think of that could go with it. Yeah, I can't think of anything else.
Did you get the webcam port?
No, I did not. I did not get a webcam with it. Which, the only thing the webcam does, it allows you to play this little feature they have on there where it's like, the playroom, where you can use the touch controller or you can use the...
Well, you can also, can't you Skype with your friends while you play the game?
Yes.
Basically what we're doing now, but on one console.
And when you're on Twitch, you could actually have your little face up in the corner too, if you want everyone to see your face and reactions. For people who do that. So,
which means you'll end up getting it sooner or later.
I'm not gonna get that shit, dude. I don't want that.
You say that.
Dude, we have run this site for basically a year now, and my face is yet to appear on it. If I wanted my face to be out there, it'd be out there.
I could put your face out there.
Well, yeah, it's not hard to put my face out there. I'm just saying, if I wanted to put my face out there, it wouldn't take me a lot of effort. It really wouldn't. Actually, we're almost to the point where we have to. But anyways, out of the little bit you've seen out of the PS4, what do you think of it? Out of grand total scheme of things.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay. So it's not something where you're like, oh yeah, that thing was really awesome, but you're like, it was acceptable.
Maybe if I, played good games on it.
Yeah, okay. Well, you had fun with Knack.
I did. Killzone was... I've never been a big fan of Killzone, but that's because my first impression was Killzone 1, and that was dog shit.
Okay, I had to tell you, I actually had more fun with Knack than Killzone as well, so don't worry about it. And so, yeah, which sucks because I actually own Killzone over Knack, but whatever.
I bet you didn't think you'd enjoy Knack.
I really honestly didn't. But even if when people see when I put up the review today, people are going to be like, well, you didn't seem like you enjoyed it that much. I'm like, well... I look even further back on it, it was more fun than Killzone. Because I didn't play Killzone at the time. I was like, wow, out of the two, this one's way better. But anyways, yeah, once newer, better games come out, because I'm more excited for, when Metal Gear comes out, when Infamous come out, Watch Dogs. We're going to have way more games coming out for the PS4.
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts. That's when we're really going to have more fun with it, but... Console specs itself, I like them. I think it's a great console. I don't regret buying one at all. You've seen the PS4 and the Xbox One. Which one do you think's a better console?
4.
4?
4 is better than 1.
Yes, yeah, that's Nick, and that's coming from Nick, who owns a 360. People, so don't even say, oh, you guys are a bunch of.
I own all 3. Thank you very much.
You do own all 3. I own 3 different ones, but yeah. And we're not Sony whores here. It's just, it's cheaper and we don't get paid to do this, so fuck you. But yeah, I'm gonna give this still a thumbs diagonal. A diagonal thumb, where it's not like,
this is coming from someone who is creaming his pants over it.
It's not, a thumbs up would be like, yeah, you need to get this. I'd still say wait. And this is coming from a guy who went out and bought one just because he could.
And who also almost bought a 1 just because he could.
I almost did. But, I give it
A little voice of reason on his shoulder told him not to.
Yeah, I give it a diagonal thumb because it's not a bad console. It's actually really good. You can see a lot of improvements with it from the last generation. Yeah, the only things I can think of that I don't really care for is the installing of the game. I don't.
Like I said, that's why I'm going to try to wait till at least the first hard drive update. Or hardware update.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe they'll get a different hardware update. Actually, I had to do one right when I got it too. But, yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see. It was going to be really curious which paths these go down. But, until then, I don't know. We'll see from there. We'll see from there, folks. Let the console wars begin. Dun, 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 dun.